So how you doing?
Amazing as always. My day is filled with saxophone and nonsense. I'm grateful. I'm a happy, lucky guy.
No, sounds good. No, it's great. Thanks for like your time, and I really appreciate just taking some time out of your day to chat with me about anything saxophone related and or all
Always.
saxophone related. So
Yeah.
no, sounds good. So do you like to go by? Is it Dr. Wally? Is it just Wally? What is your preference?
What's funny, I just go by Wally, but my students, which are actual physicians, so the majority of my students, I have a private studio, a subscription service,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's a fairly large studio. And I joke that I work with more doctors than my wife. My wife is an actual physician, but I work with more doctors, psychiatrists, urologists, immunologists, surgeon, general practice. I mean, the gamut. And they just kind of call me Dr. Wally. And so it just kind of stuck.
Yeah, no, to be completely honest, when I first came across your like videos a few years back, I was like, is he really a doctor or is this like a shtick?
Some people get mad. I've had people like accusing me. They'll email like, "What is your doctorate in? Where's it from?" So I always joke like, "Well, it's actually an honorary doctorate from the Steakhouse Tavern down the street because I ate the 3 pound big beef burger in under 15 minutes, giving me the honorary doctorate of beefology."
You have it, you have it. So I mean, that's
I have the honorary doctorate of beefology, so that thus I go by doctor. No, I did the same thing that so many of us. I did 3 degrees in saxophone because, well, I did my undergrad in music ed. And then I got 2 more degrees in saxophone because I wasn't good at anything else. And it takes me the better part of a day to change a shower head. So I figured, like, let's just keep getting degrees in saxophone. So I actually do have a doctorate. I'm still paying the loans, and so I don't give
that's how
them.
you know. That's how you know.
Yeah, and so I don't give that university any press because until they waive my outstanding debt, I'm not going to mention the name.
No, totally understandable. No, sounds good. So like, where, as far as like your saxophone like history leading up to like this point in time, because I think what's so interesting about you beyond like the presence you have like on YouTube would most importantly be the fact that like you've kind of been able to create your own thing outside of the system, which is that's always kind of what I'm most interested in. I'm just like always entrepreneurial in nature, and it's what I've been trying to do up until going back to school and deciding that I don't want to do that. But you never know. So yeah, like what obviously it seems like you're definitely not shy about your gripes with school and university education,
Right.
which makes your podcast so entertaining, to be honest.
Well, I appreciate that.
No, it really is. It's the most fun saxophone podcast that I have queued in. So like whenever you guys go on hiatus, I'm like, oh, when is it gonna update? When are they gonna give me more? So no, that's. But as far as like your background, were you like a straight up like elementary school, started playing saxophone and realized this was gonna
Yeah,
be okay?
just like really boring. My origin story is like just guy, mild mannered reporter, toxic waste, wear a cape. I mean, but not the cape. There's nothing heroic about what I do. But I mean, it's just, I started playing it at like 11 years old, like everyone else. I went through the band. I majored in music in college. I just kept going with it. And around my doctorate, I just got really disillusioned because in the university I was attending, there was a lot of people getting adjunct jobs.
Yeah.
And they would send out these congratulation letters like, congratulations to so and so for getting a adjunct professorship at the university so and so. And I was like, that's absurd. That's in the word. I mean, it could be a stepping stone, but it's not anymore. People are like living and dying in adjunct jobs, and it's unethical. Um, I quit an adjunct job at unnamed place, and I said, this isn't ethical. The amount of, and I was like, you can replace me easy. I recommend you don't. I recommend you get one of your full-time faculty to teach the saxophone lessons. You don't need a world-class talent for these kids at this private college. You just need someone getting them through their music ed degree, and it's unethical to ask someone to drive down, 2 hours each way from the bigger city, and the promise is that it could lead somewhere when you know damn well it's not.
Yeah, no,
So yeah,
I totally understand that. Especially, I mean, as I'm so right now I'm currently outside of DC, so there's like just a lot of like university teaching
yeah,
adjunct opportunities, and I'm not gonna lie, I take them when they come to me. But it's just a very different like metropolitan area here. Like if I was out in like Nebraska or like even like I grew up in upstate New York. There was nothing. There was nothing there. There was no way I could teach anybody outside of K through 12 that wanted to play saxophone. It's just not part of the culture.
Yeah.
And so when I saw like the saxophone academy and people taking these lessons, and because you do majority of is it mostly adult learners? Is that like what you're dealing with?
Almost exclusively. Yeah.
That's awesome.
A lot of retired professionals or just working professionals that almost known as coming to me to start the saxophone. A few have tried, and I have to like gently say like you need to go, get a private teacher first for a while to get ready to where you're ready to study with me. But it's people that have put up the instrument for 20 years, or people that were desperate to learn jazz, wanted to study jazz. They bought the Abersold books, which, I mean, hats off to Jamie Abersold. He was doing jazz pedagogy in ways that had never been done, but it's a system that cannot set you up for success. It's a practice tool. It's not the teaching method. And
Oh, well said. Well said.
and so they go out online, and you have these guys that just like, here's a 2/5 lick, lettered in 12 keys, and then magic, magic, magic. The underpants gnomes make you into a jazz player. It's like this weird like gap. And so I was kind of
Number system. Yeah.
yeah. And so I started teaching a different way of how I learned, because I was desperate to learn jazz, not just learn it for the job opportunity. So I could go into an audition with the committee and blow through what just changes and like, all right, check, you can teach our jazz classes. I really wanted to immerse myself in the art form. And so I had to come up with a way that worked for me.
Yeah.
And it connected with a lot of my adult students for ways that just did not work for them before, other methods. And so, yeah, I had to kind of, and it's not glamorous the way I teach, but it works to get them playing the art form in a way that's fun and gets them moving forward without feeling like they're just, need to pull their hair out learning 2/5 patterns in 12 keys, which was never helpful for me.
Yeah. No, I get that entirely. So everything you're bringing up makes me want to ask you like four different questions.